few weeks ago in the dead of winter. The oil and natural gas that we rely on for 75% of our energy are simply running out. In spite of increased effort, domestic production has been dropping steadily at about 6% a year. Imports have doubled in the last 5 years, and our nation's economic and political independence is becoming increasingly vulnerable. Unless profound changes are made to look, the world will be demanding more oil than it can produce. The world now uses about 60 million barrels of oil a day, and demand increases each year about 5%. This means that just to stay even, which was much more efficient, this change became the basis of the Industrial Revolution. The second change took place in this century with the growing use of oil and natural gas. They were more convenient and cheaper than coal, and the supply seemed to be almost without limit. They made possible the age of automobile and air. People used twice as much oil as during the 1940s. During the 1960s, we used twice as much as during the 1950s. And in each of those decades, more oil was consumed to keep it rising during the 1970s and 1980s by 5% a year, as it has in the past. We could use up all the proven reserves of oil in the entire world by the end of the next about the large oil fields on Alaska's North Slope, and more disturbing than the last. World oil production can probably keep going up for another 6 or 8 years. Each American, last year, we spent $36 billion for imported oil, nearly 10 times as much. Along with that money that we transport overseas, we will continue. Too few of our utility companies will have switched to coal, which is our most abundant energy source. We will not be ready to keep our transportation system running, public transportation. We will fill mounts, strip mine and burn more coal, and drill more offshore wells than if we begin to conserve right now. Inflation will soar. That we must protect the environment. Our energy problems have the same cause as our environmental problems: wasteful use of resources, consequent to potentially devastating embargoes. We can protect ourselves from uncertain supplies by reducing our demand for oil. Conservation is the only way that we can buy a barrel of oil for about $2. It costs about $13 to waste it. The seventh principle is that prices should generally reflect the true replacement cost of energy. We are only cheating ourselves if we make energy artificially cheap and use a policy that I will describe as energy system. These are the goals that we set. 500,000 houses. We will monitor our progress toward these goals year by year. Our plan will call for strict conservation measures if we fall behind. I can't tell you that these measures will be easy, nor will they be popular. But I think most of you realize that a policy which does not ask for changes or sacrifices would not be an effective policy at this late date. This plan is essential to protect our jobs, our environment, our standard of living, and our future. Whether this plan ingenuity, our skill at answering questions, now we need efficiency and ingenuity more than ever. We've always been proud of our leadership in the world, and now we have a chance, again, of our proposal. It will demand that we make sacrifices and changes in every life. To some degree, the sacrifices will be painful, but so will be asked to bear an unfair burden. We will monitor the accuracy of data from the oil and natural gas companies for the first time. Those driving large, unnecessarily powerful cars must expect to pay more for that luxury. We can be sure that all the special interest groups in the country will attack the part of this plan that affects them directly. They will say that sacrifice is fine as long as other people do it, but that their sacrifice is unreasonable or unfair or harmful to the country. If they succeed with this approach, then the burden on the ordinary citizen who's not organized into an interest group would be crushing. There should be only one test for this program, whether it will help our country. Other generations of Americans have faced and mastered great challenges. I have faith that meeting this challenge will make our own lives even richer. If you will join me so that we can work together with patriotism and courage, we will again prove that our great nation can lead the world into an age of peace